Spark 2.0, and Spark 2.0 is mainly focused on data frames. So in this course we will be working with Python and Spark through data frame syntax. And if you work with the pandas in the Python SQL Excel framework, it will be very familiar with the data frames. So data frame is basically rows and columns, and rows is represent the data, and column is represent the features of the data. The Spark data frame holds the data column and row format. Each column represents the features or a variable. Each row represents the individual data points. And Spark began with something known as RDD syntax, which was little ugly and tricky to learn. Now Spark 2.0 and higher is shifted toward the data frame syntax, which is much cleaner and easier to work with. Python and Spark data frames are available input and output data from the wide variety of source. We can them use for data frame to apply the various transformation of data. At the end of the transformation call, we will either call the show or the collect result to the display the sum final processing. In this section, we will cover all the main features working with the data frames, and that's you need to know. Once we will have a solid understanding of Spark data frames, we can move on the utilizing data frames mlib API for the machine learning. And after this section, you will have to section the data frame project, and project will be analyze of the sum of the historical stock data information using all Spark knowledge from this section in the course. It will serve as the quick experience review and test skill that learned in this section. Let's get started learning the basic Spark data framework. So let's start here, guys. So here this is basic data frames. So here what I'm using here, I'm importing Find Spark in my MacBook using Jupyter notebook. Find Spark is I install Spark is here. So I'm creating a Spark session here, and now so this is I'm creating on my local system. So Spark session, I'm taking the Spark session, building the application name is the basics, and get or created. If it is there, it will get it, otherwise it will. Now I'm reading the JSON file people.json. If you see the Spark Spark context read.json is the 2 new syntax. So if I'll do, it will create a data frames. And now if I would like to show the data, I will do the data frame.show. So here I can see that this data frame basically age is the one features and name is one features, and these are rows. Now if you want to see the schema, then what I can do, the print schema. So here is age is a long nullable, and name is a string. And if you want to see the column name in the form of the list, we can give a df.columns. If we want to describe, we can use df.describe. So these are described as a data frame. You can see the data frame, it will form of the data frame. So now these are, if you see here, age is a long and name is a string. So I would like to change the age as the some other data type like integer. So what I can do in the pyspark.sql.type I will take the struct field and string type and integer type and a struct type. So let's do this one. Now I'm defining here as a list. In the list, struct field is containing age is an integer, and it's convert, let's say true, means it will convert for all values. Struct field name, and I'm converting a string type. And then I'm doing the struct type, and I'm passing the data schema, and final schema I'm creating. So let's do this one. Now we can define the schema here, and we can use the while reading the JSON. So if you see here, now it got changed. So integer, and this is the string, it can be nullable. So if I want to access the particular one column, let's see here. So df and age. So this is column and age is type. So if I want to see the type, you can give df age type the pyspark.sql.column.column. So if I want to select, so I can use the simple select statement here of the data So anybody knows SQL, we can use the here SQL data frames as integer. So if you see here data frames, now this is the data frame, guys, and I want to see the data, then I can use the show or collect. I want to see the two, so it will give the two rows and it will return the row object. Remember, if you want multiple values, we can use the data frame to data frame. If you want to show, then we can use the show command. And now if we want to change with column, we want to rename column. Let's say we want to rename df age, or we are adding the new column here, new age with columns. With columns, new this is new column. Using df age value we are populating here, and we are showing this data. Now if you see, but original data frame doesn't change. So if you see here, age in the super wage, so simple renaming. So I'm renaming here again, rename column age to super age, and now complicated operation, create a new let's say with new columns, and we want to do some kind of operation, so we can give like this way. Now with column df, we want to have some kind of new operation we want to do, we can do like this way. Age, we want to do half, we can do half also. With column half age df dot half. So this is new column, remember, using SQL. So SQL, as you know, we can create the temporary table, create or replace temp view. It's a view. Now we can select a data from view. If you see the select, it is a data frame, and if you show this is data, select star from people. Let's do this some complicated examples, so it's giving. So thank you.